Hey, Impact Zone fam, how's it going? We're back again. Talking more TNA wrestling shenanigans, and this one's this one's a bit odd in some ways, at least to me. But apparently, there was a lot of controversy surrounding the promotion of the last show I think a lot of people apparently got confused thinking that the main event, the live main event, would be Nick Nemeth versus Jeff Hardy for some reason. I know they promoted Jeff Hardy versus Nick Nemeth, at the tapings and whatnot. And I guess, well, it's a big match. So maybe that's why people felt like, oh, well, this will be the main event. So I'll be tuning in to see Nick Nemeth versus Jeff Hardy or whatever. And yeah, it's kind of out of nowhere, but I don't really care. I just want to see, two of the most, big stars that are in the company go at it and see what happens. So a lot of people were pissed or whatever to find out that it wasn't happening this week and was happening next week, basically on one of the taped episodes. So that's the main controversy, the controversy that people got confused or that they felt like they were led to believe that the live episode was going to be Jeff Hardy versus Nick Nemeth for the world title, basically. And they're complaining that it was false advertising and all of this stuff. The match, in and of itself, did happen on the tapings. I don't even need to see the spoilers to know how that went out. But yeah, whatever. Still, it is what it is. And I think that I think Nick Nemeth addressed this controversy, and whatnot. And there's been a few discussions about like how people got confused or whatever else it was. I was never confused. I 100% knew going into this that they weren't having that match on this show. I knew that this wasn't going to be on this show. I knew it was going to be either next week or even maybe the week after. I'm not 100% sure, but still, I knew that it wasn't going to be on this show. And perhaps there was a little lacking clarity in regards to it, and perhaps they should have announced it a little bit clearer on the day rather than saying it was leading up to the tapings, because I think that's what, perhaps did spark the confusion, because I think that people, when you see something on the card or whatever else it is for the tapings, it's like, yeah, you are trying to sell people on seeing that at the tapings as well. So you're also trying to sell tickets days and weeks in advance or months in advance at times. So saying, hey, this is a match that you're going to see on the tapings or on that loop or whatever else you want to call it. Yeah, like obviously that's what you're trying to do. So again, it's just one of those things of it was a match that was advertised perhaps unclearly to some extent, to the fact that it was announced beforehand, which maybe it should have been announced on the live episode. So hey, stick around the next set of tapings, because this is a match that's going to be on one of those shows and you're going to want to see it. It's not going to get broadcast till next week or next whatever couple of weeks or whatever else it is, I believe. So yeah, it's one of those things. I don't really have a problem with it per se myself, because like I've said, I was not confused. I actually read through this and saw that it didn't really say live, and saw that, hey, this is part of the tapings or whatever else it is. It's not going to be on the first live episode. And I thought, well, like, why would they have this on the live episode? I was like thinking they're gonna have to build this up, and like, are they really gonna have this on the live episode? Maybe they could, but like, again, I wouldn't complain if they did, but I was in the mindset of like, yeah, this is a match that's happening on the tapings. It's not the live episode, which maybe it should have been. I don't know, tough to say, because it is a big time match. So I think like this is one of the things about like, I don't know whether people tuned in a huge amount to see that, and then they were like, oh shit, it's not this week, it's next week or whatever. So maybe like the numbers will be really, really high, more than what was expected for the show. Like, because like we've been getting close to 300K, something like that lately. And in those mid 250s Ks sort of area as well. So yeah, this one might be big time, just based on the fact that people, well, I don't know whether they misread or they misunderstood or whatever, or they just expected it because they saw, oh, Nick Nemeth's facing Jeff Hardy. Okay, that'll be cool on the live episode. On these, they saw the set of tapings and they saw that this was one of the matches, and they were like, oh, okay, I don't see any other major matches, so obviously this is going to be the live main event, so that makes sense. I can see that to some extent. But again, to me, it just, like, I knew 100%, like I said, that that wasn't going to be the case. So, and I think people need to calm the farm a little bit on this issue and in this controversy. I mean, maybe the issue is going to, I hope it does resolve itself very soon, but I think it is somewhat of an issue in regards to, like, you want to deliver what you promised type thing. You don't want the fans to feel like, oh man, we felt like you promised us this match, but we didn't get to see it. Well, bro, calm the frick down for 5 seconds. You are going to get to see that match, so just tune in when it's on. You know what I mean? And there was a lot of promotion as well, or a bit of promotion at least as well, of saying this is what's going to be on this episode of TV. They said, hey, these are the matches that are going to go down on this episode, like, for a couple of weeks. So, and there was no mention of the Jeff Hardy Nick Nemeth match in those promos. So, like, I think they tried to do as much as what they could with saying, hey, this is what you're going to see, this is what you're going to see. But people still saw, oh, Nick Nemeth is facing Jeff Hardy, so obviously that's just going to be added at the end, and whatever else is, going to be on another day, or, it's only going to be like a minute or two, or whatever else it's going to be, or whatnot. So, yeah, but still, I think there was a lot of confusion in the advertising of this, at least with some people, at least with people apparently that can't, fathom to think more than a few seconds, I guess, or whatever, or whatever, I don't know, just people who are just, like, silly or stupid or whatever. Like, again, like, there's been a lot of, like, negative Nancy's and negative naysayers and that, like, for the entirety of TNA's existence. And, like, people who are AEW fans or whatever else it is, I am sure that there have been negative Nancy's and whatnot for a long time with AEW as well. But now they're kind of in that period where it's like, you're not the new fresh hotness anymore, and sometimes your booking decisions aren't really all that good, and sometimes you're not really the alternative as much to WWE as you want to claim, especially when you just hire literally every ex-WWE superstar that you can get your hands on. And like again, like if you really want to be the polar opposite to WWE, like you shouldn't well, I don't want to say you shouldn't, but like if that's what your mindset is, then you shouldn't really have ex WWE like stars, like proper stars, being focal points in your promotion. As if they will not do that, because again, they care about the dollars at the end of the day more than whatever else that they claim to say. Oh yes, we're, this is what we're all about, wins and losses matter, or la 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 la, whatever, all that stuff. No, at the end of the day, dollars and cents matter. If you can enhance our product or whatever, then we're interested. If you can't enhance our product, then we're not interested. That should be the bottom line. If you're not going to, even if you're not going to wrestle, okay, then you have to be a mouth stick or a manager or something else. You have to be adding something to the presentation, or to, even behind the scenes, again, in production or in the writing or in the booking or in some facet or in some way, rather than just you're here and you're phoning it in and don't really give a rat's rectum about what's happening, and all you care about is getting your paycheck. So that's where we're at with that. But anyway, those are things that have come up in the last couple of days, or I think as the episode was going to air, and in the last couple of days, and there's a lot of discussion going on about it. So I did want to just come in here and have a touch on it. I'm sure it's going to go on for a while, and whatnot, because people cannot let shit go. Like, there are things to be like, oh man, that still makes me mad, or whatever else it is, or whatnot, that sort of thing. But again, just like it was 20 years ago, bro, or whatever it was. But like, again, like if you're saying, well, it's not just that it makes me mad, it just makes me like so befuddled to think that, this was the decision that was made, or whatever else it was, and it was handled so badly and so poorly, and this led to, this, which led to that, which led to so many other issues, which, realistically were, very problematic and whatnot. So I can understand that when you're looking at a history of things, and things like that. This started the snowball rolling down the hill. Everything was going well up to this point. They tried to push it up the hill. They tried to push it up the hill again, but, realistically, and that's what TNA is doing, now. Like, again, it seems like every time we turn around and have a look at what's going on, it's like TNA is having to push that bowl up the hill with people. Being like, oh, you stuffed up, lol, TNA, you did the TNA thing again. But no one will point out, like, oh, WWE did the WWE thing again, and AEW did the AEW thing again, blah, 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 whatever, basically. Where they, like AEW debuts a new wrestler from WWE. 2 minutes later, well, see you later, bye. 6 months later, maybe we see them, like, once, and that's about it. Yep, they're there. Yep, that's it. 2 years later, 10 years later, whatever it is. And it's good for people, I guess, that are just like, I don't care. All I want's the money, man. But, like, yeah, for people who are actually like, oh, yeah, I want to actually wrestle and actually want to be on TV and all this other stuff, or I want to, be the best, or fuel the company, or whatever else it is, but they don't really care. So, well, whatever. But yeah, like, those are the problems that those guys do all the time, and no one calls them out on it, or not really, and things like that. Same with WWE. They especially of late, in the last, like, couple of years, they just gave Sol Ruker the international title, was it, I think, or intercontinental title, or whatever, and just took it off of her. Like, what? Why? And the same for the Intercontinental Men's title. They had that being a hot potato for a long time there, where it was like hot potato. It went from Penta to somebody else, to somebody else, to somebody else. And, like, bro, I know you've got a lot of young wrestlers and you want to feature them all, and all of this, and you kind of want to elevate them all, but you can't do that. You've got to be like, okay, this guy's got to hold it, then they've got to hold it for 6 months, then at least 6 months. Okay, then this person's going to hold it, and then they're going to hold it for 6 months at least, and then somebody else is going to win it, and then they're going to hold it for 6 months, or whatever else it is, at least. Sometimes some people are going to hold it for like 8 months or a year or even longer, but again, you've got to be saying, okay, well, why are we doing that for that person? What does that mean, and where is that going, or whatever. So yeah, but anyway, guys, that is pretty much it for this one. I hope you've enjoyed. Hope you join me again in another one.